Welcome to BookVerse Audio, where we bring you the world's most powerful books, summarized, simplified, and spoken into stories that transform your mind. Today, we're diving into a book that has helped millions of people change their lives, one tiny step at a time. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear, a book about how small changes make a big difference. If you've ever struggled to stick to new habits or felt frustrated by slow progress, this is the book and the message you've been waiting for. Chapter 1: The Power of Tiny Changes. James Clear begins with a simple but life-changing idea. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. If you can get just 1% better every day, by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better. But if you get 1% worse every day, you'll decline almost to zero. The same principle applies to everything: health, relationships, work, or learning. Success doesn't come from massive actions. It comes from tiny improvements repeated consistently. That's why Clear calls them atomic habits. Small like atoms, but incredibly powerful when they combine and compound over time. You might not notice the results right away, but over months and years, they can completely reshape your identity and your destiny. Chapter 2: Forget Goals. Focus on systems. We all have goals: lose weight, get a promotion, earn more money, be happier. But James Clear says goals don't make the difference. Systems do. Here's the distinction: goals are about the results you want. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. For example, a coach's goal is to win a championship, but the system is how the team trains and practices each day. A writer's goal is to publish a book, but the system is the daily writing routine. Goals are useful for setting direction, but systems are what make progress possible. When you focus only on goals, you keep saying, "I'll be happy when I achieve X." But when you focus on systems, you fall in love with the process and progress becomes automatic. That's why Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Chapter 3: Identity, the real source of change. Most people try to change their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve, but the secret lies in focusing on who you want to become. For example, instead of saying, "I want to run a marathon," say, "I'm a runner." Instead of, "I want to read more," say, "I'm a reader." Instead of, "I want to get organized," say, "I'm an organized person." Identity-based habits start from the inside out. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you write a page, you're voting for being a writer. When you cook a healthy meal, you're voting for being a healthy person. When you study, you're voting for being a disciplined learner. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep casting votes for your new identity until it becomes who you are. Real change isn't behavior modification, it's identity transformation. Chapter 4: The 4 Laws of Behavior Change. To make or break any habit, James Clear gives us a practical framework called the 4 Laws of Behavior Change. They are: 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. Let's explore each law in detail. Law 1. Make it obvious habits begin with a cue, something that triggers the behavior. To build a good habit, make the cue visible and obvious. To break a bad habit, make the cue invisible. For example, want to drink more water? Keep a bottle on your desk. Want to read before bed? Leave your book on your pillow. Want to stop checking your phone first thing in the morning? Leave it in another room. Clear also shares a powerful technique called habit stacking. You link a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll floss. After I pour my coffee, I'll meditate for 1 minute. After I sit down to dinner, I'll say one thing I'm grateful for. By stacking new habits onto old ones, you anchor your behavior in existing routines, making change natural and predictable. Law 2. Make it attractive. We're motivated to do things that are appealing. So to build habits, we must make them more attractive. One way to do this is temptation bundling, pairing a habit you need to do with one you want to do. Example, only watch Netflix while exercising. Only check social media after you've done your morning routine. Only listen to your favorite music while cleaning. Clear also suggests joining communities where your desired behavior is normal. Want to get fit? Hang around people who love exercise. Want to read more? Join a book club. We naturally imitate the habits of the people around us. Your environment isn't just physical, it's social. Surround yourself with the behaviors you admire. Law 3. Make it easy. The biggest barrier to new habits isn't lack of motivation, it's friction. To build a habit, reduce friction. To break a bad one, increase friction. Want to exercise? Lay out your clothes the night before. Want to eat healthy? Prep meals in advance. Want to waste less time on your phone? Delete social media apps or move them to a hidden folder. And then comes the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to meditate? Sit quietly for 2 minutes. Want to write? Open your notebook and write 1 sentence. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up. Once you start, momentum takes over. As Clear says, standardize before you optimize. First, make it a habit, then improve it. Law 4, make it satisfying. We repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. That's why Clear says, to stick with a habit, make it immediately satisfying. Since many good habits have delayed rewards like saving money or exercising, we can create small, instant wins. Use a habit tracker. Mark every successful day on a calendar or app. The visual progress triggers a little dopamine hit, your brain's way of saying, yes, this feels good. Do it again. To break bad habits, do the opposite. Make them unsatisfying. Have accountability partners. Make public commitments. Set up systems where failure feels uncomfortable. Pain can be a powerful teacher, but pleasure keeps you consistent. Chapter 5, The Plateau of Latent Potential. One of the most encouraging ideas in Atomic Habits is the concept of the plateau of latent potential. Imagine you're heating an ice cube. The temperature rises. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 degrees. Still nothing happens. Then at 32 degrees, the ice melts. The breakthrough moment didn't come from that last degree. It was the result of all the little degrees before it, all the effort you couldn't yet see. That's what habits are like. You might be working hard and see no results, but under the surface, progress is building. Then one day, it all clicks. Change takes time, and patience is power. Chapter 6, Environment, the Invisible Hand of Behavior. Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. If you want to change your life, start by changing your surroundings. Your environment can make good habits easy and bad habits hard. For example, want to eat less junk? Don't buy it. Want to read more? Keep books visible in every room. Want to practice guitar more? Keep it on a stand, not in a case. Instead of fighting temptation, remove it. Instead of relying on willpower, design better systems. You shape your environment, and then your environment shapes you. Chapter 7, The Goldilocks Rule. Staying motivated, even with great habits, motivation fades. So how do we stay consistent? Clear introduces the Goldilocks Rule. Humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are not too hard, not too easy, but just right. When a challenge feels perfectly balanced, just at the edge of your ability, it keeps you engaged and motivated. If a habit gets boring, tweak it slightly. Add variety, new challenges, or different goals to maintain interest. Even professional athletes adjust their routines to stay sharp. Remember, mastery isn't about boredom-free perfection. It's about loving the process of improvement, even when it's not exciting. Chapter 8, The Downside of Good Habits. Good habits are powerful, but they can also create blind spots. Once something becomes automatic, you risk slipping into autopilot, doing it without awareness. That's why Clear emphasizes reflection and review. Regularly check in with yourself. Ask, are my habits still serving my goals? Am I improving or just repeating? What's working and what needs to change? Awareness keeps your habits aligned with your identity. Final chapter: The Truth About Lasting Change. James Clear ends Atomic Habits with one final liberating truth. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up consistently. Small habits might seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the invisible architecture of your success. Every small act, reading a page, eating a healthy meal, saving a few dollars, showing gratitude, compounds into a future that looks nothing like your past. Big changes don't come from massive effort. They come from small actions, taken again and again, with intention and faith. As Clear writes, tiny changes, remarkable results, inspiring and calm. And that, dear listener, is Atomic Habits, the blueprint for transformation, one small step at a time. If you found value in this summary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BookVerse Audio, where we bring you the best ideas from the world's greatest books in voice, story, and simplicity. Thank you for listening, and remember, your future is built by the habits you practice today.